Your YouTube feed is crap. Stop wasting your time watching bot-boosted shills and self-appointed gurus cloying for your attention. Instead, join the Gosslings interview live stream and podcast. The Gosslings, a dark-lit digital speakeasy of free thinkers. A super chat of radical truth-seeking wizards who eat trolls for second breakfast. Topics that'll make your mama's hair stand on end. Ideas that'll make your pastor's knees knock. Guests that will illuminate the hidden chambers of your mind. And interviews that strike down the darkness. Welcome to the Gosslings.
Write like a man. Use a typewriter.
That's right.
What's up, everyone? I'm Jonathan.
I'm Nick.
And we are Gosslings. And we will jump right into it.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. I hope everyone's having a good night. Sorry, it's been a while since we've seen everybody.
Yeah.
We are going to jump right into it with a toast. Get to chat with you guys. Ready when you are,
Yep.
man.
Take up the broken sword of your father.
And strike down the darkness.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Every drop of water is life. The desert of Arrakis will consume you. Bullet.
That was a babysit. Yeah. Bullet rye. Bullet rye.
Bullet rye. Yeah.
I'm a rye guy.
The elixir of life, the ambrosia of the Goslings live stream. Welcome, everyone. We're kind of doing like a real sort of fast and loose ad hoc live stream today. We are on Cloud 9 because we are on the back end of our interview with Derek Gilbert.
Yes. We just... Shoot, can we tell him?
Yeah, we could tell.
Man, we were just guests on Derek Gilbert's podcast, A View from the Bunker, which he has in a video form on his platform, but also
on YouTube.
Also,
A View from the Bunker,
yeah, and then podcast form on any podcast platform,
wherever podcasts are sold.
So we got to be. This is the first time that the Goslings have been on somebody else's platform.
Yeah, it's a huge milestone for us.
Yeah, it is.
We've had some amazing people. We had Derek Gilbert on probably 3 weeks ago, a month ago, maybe.
About a month ago. Yeah, about a month ago. Yeah,
and it was amazing. We talked about his book, The Second Coming of Saturn. We talked about a bunch of topical stuff in the Christian conspiracy world. And man, we had such a blast that he actually was magnanimous enough to invite us to be a guest on his show. And his show is not live, so we went ahead and we taped an episode with him. And then he's going to edit it. And then when is it going to air?
The 24th of this month.
The 24th.
And believe me, you will be hearing about it.
Yeah, no
we
kidding.
will make sure.
Yeah, we will not let you not hear about it. So we're blown away to be able to not just be on somebody else's platform, but
Kim.
to be able. What's up, Kim? Thanks for being here. Not just to be able to be on somebody else's platform, but to be on Derek Gilbert's platform. A View from the Bunker is amazing. If you have not heard of his channel, you should check it out. It is relevant. It is insightful. It is everything that we are interested in all the time, whether it's the flood and fallen angels or whether it's, current events,
politics.
Yeah,
all that stuff. And he's a writer, nonfiction and fiction.
Yeah, him and his wife both.
Works all those elements into his work.
Yeah,
he's phenomenal.
He's
super intelligent.
They kind of remind me of Adam and Dee in that they're like such an awesome little power couple.
They are a power couple. They're a major power couple.
Oh my gosh, because they're so they're both writers and they are fully committed. And they've been doing it for probably 20, 30 years, 30 years at least, right?
They're like the hardest working people. Like their schedule is 18 hours a day with nothing. There's no 5-minute interval in their day
right
for anything because they're just doing all the time. They're just hitting it so hard.
And Derek has
admirable, really.
Background in radio, and much like us, he and his wife got started with a podcast where they initially used it to promote their books, their fiction, and then according to him, it sort of evolved into this this platform to discuss other events. And oh, hey Sherry.
Yeah,
What's
hey
up?
Mimi.
Yeah, Sherry's here. All
Yeah.
right, sweet. So yeah, Derek, he was super gracious with his time. I think it was supposed to be like a 45-minute interview, and we probably went for like an hour and a half.
He's just so fun to talk to.
I
man.
know,
I just
man.
can't stop talking to him.
Yeah, and he had some, and it was mind blowing for us because we're always the ones asking the questions. So to have someone ask us questions,
The microphone was turned, so to speak,
right.
and he was asking us questions, and of course we can never shut up, you know.
Right.
And
Yeah.
but it's great talking to him because he's got that voice, he's got that
Oh my God,
radio
that
voice. He's been
presence.
doing it for like 30 plus years.
Yeah.
He's so articulate, and he's great to listen. Anyway,
And he
you'll be
had
able to
great-
hear all that.
Yeah.
And we're super excited to be on his podcast again this month on the 24th. So that's what's that, 3 Sundays from now, I guess.
Yeah, I think
Or
so. Yeah,
two Sundays.
A couple weeks.
Yeah, 2
it's
weeks.
A couple weeks
2 weeks.
away.
Yeah.
And of course, because he's a writer and a Christian, and he's into all the same things we are. He had some amazing questions for us, and it was so cool to not just be on somebody else's platform, to have that golden opportunity, but also to have someone else ask you those questions that you're always thinking to ask your guests.
Yeah,
it was
give
really neat.
him an example of one of the questions he asked us about our books. He was asking us about our books, if you can believe it. That's crazy.
He was asking Nick about the Travelers League series. He was asking me about the Heavenly Realms series, and one of the questions, if I remember correctly, was what do you want people to get out of your books ultimately? What's like the main raison d'etre, to put it in
Nice turn of
very
phrase.
pretentious terminology.
Pretentious term. By the way, I didn't even know what raison d'etre meant.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd ever heard it until about like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
I think
Yeah.
my wife read it in a book,
Yeah.
and she was like, "What is raison d'etre? What is this?"
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm a writer. I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Of course,
That's-
you already know that word and have probably
Well,
used it several times.
I
in your
have.
novels.
That's why I'm no good at parties.
You- Why? Because you actually have a vocabulary.
Yeah. Well, a useless vocabulary. Everybody's
You're
just
going
like,
to the wrong parties, bro.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to go to more parties involving ascots. Speaking of ascots, we have the Braveheart sword
Yep.
with us.
Yep. We could wear ascots next time.
We could. Yeah, we might. Ascots might look good with their t-shirts, by the way.
I think it'd look good with black
With the
for
black,
sure. Yeah. I got a red ascot.
We designed, I'll get the microphone out of the way here. Nick and I designed new t-shirts for our Teespring page. So everybody should go to, we probably will have the link down in the description, but everybody should go to the Teespring
Bam.
page and check out the Gosslings t-shirts. We have some awesome ones. Nick and I designed these probably a month and a half ago, and both of them say aliens are just demons you can shoot.
Yep.
And because we don't believe that aliens are real, we think they're actually demons.
We think they're supernatural, demonic entities that are
Interdimensional.
appearing in some sort of physical form, which means you can shoot them, folks.
Which means,
And they're bad guys.
get your AR-15, get your 308.
Second Amendment, baby.
Yeah, Second Amendment, that 2A life, living that 2A
That's
life,
right.
dropping UFOs.
Yeah, you'd think that, if you were an alien and you were smart, you'd want to appear over someplace like New York City because you're going to be
Right.
safe. Ain't no one going to shoot at you.
One of the Clinton
Stop going to the
archipelagos.
Iowa cornfields and the Wyoming ranches.
Don't appear over the Goslings houses, and don't appear
Yeah.
over Derek Gilbert's house.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
You
bad
might.
news.
I
Because
bet
we're
you,
waiting.
yeah,
You got a
oh,
beat
yeah.
on you. Literally have a beat on you.
Mhm.
We are ready.
I bet you Gary Wayne's got an awesome arsenal too.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. It's Canada.
Yeah, I know. I think about that, but also he's pretty cool.
Yes.
So
He's got a hidden arsenal.
Gary
Secret
Wayne's
arsenal.
super cool. So
He
I
probably
would,
has one
you know,
3 feet past the North Dakota border. He's got a little
yeah.
wooden box he's built out in the woods.
He's got his own bunker. you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
He's got his Fargo stash.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Actually, we had a great comment from somebody on one of our Gary Wayne interviews asking when we could have him back.
Yep.
And he has been on sabbatical. I think it was on sabbatical through June, if I remember correctly, right?
I thought it was longer than that. I think
Might
we
be.
were gonna try for maybe August.
Yeah,
at the
that's-
earliest. August at the earliest, maybe
Yeah.
September. But at the end of the summer, we plan on having him back. He's been
Yeah.
working on. He has another book that he's working on.
Yeah, sequel to his amazing book, The Genesis 6 Conspiracy.
Yeah.
If you're into Derek Gilbert's stuff, if you're into the Goslings, you have got to buy The Genesis 6 Conspiracy by Gary Wayne and read it, because it's just mind blowing.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
Yeah.
And it's dense. It's high caloric mental material.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's Gary Wayne.
Yeah, it's Gary Wayne. So, man, can you imagine how awesome it would be to have both of those guys on at the same, like,
I couldn't do it
at the same time? You just hit play and then just sit back and let those two geniuses talk.
No, I
for the
feel
next 2 hours.
we're
not worthy.
I haven't done the research, and I'm not as intelligent as either one of those people individually. You put them together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's always awesome having both those guys on, and we are going to have.
It'd be kind of like interviewing Jordan Peterson, where all you really get out of it is you feel really stupid. Like you don't realize how
life lessons, and you realize you don't deserve to be here.
You realize just how much you don't know.
Yeah,
it's illuminating.
Yeah, really. It really is. Yeah, and speaking of which, we are also going to have our favorite writer back.
Yes, the man himself.
Yeah, the author of The Warrior Ethos, author of A Man at Arms, which is out in paperback. Which, if you're a Christian, who wants some really good, sort of, I guess you would call it like Christian adjacent fiction.
Historic fiction.
Yeah, that has a sort of Christian lilt to it.
Dude, it's awesome. It's solid. It's so exciting. Good. It's deep.
Yeah,
it's gritty.
Mm-hmm.
It's violent.
You'd ever
it's violent.
Want out of something like that. Very well researched.
And if you don't know who Stephen Pressfield is, he wrote The War of Art. For you writers out there, he wrote The War of Art,
which is a must-read as a writer. Or
Gates of Fire, if you like historic fiction. Gates of Fire is huge.
Yeah.
And then if none of those ring a bell,
yeah,
he is the author of The Legend of Bagger Vance.
The Legend of Bagger Vance, the book that the movie was based on.
He's written something that you've heard of.
Yeah, he absolutely has. He has, whether you realize it or not. He's been in the industry, probably 40, 50 years at this point, something like that. The dude is a titan.
He hasn't agreed to this, but he's kind of a mentor to us as well as thousands of other authors.
Yeah.
We haven't formally, hey, will you be our mentor?
Yeah,
but he is. He's that kind of figure in a lot of writers' minds.
Oh, he was to me for forever. Like back when I was in the trenches of Empyrean Falling, I used to email him all the time, just walls of text. And poor Steve, man, he was such a sweetheart. We're talking like 2004, 2005, 2007.
Yeah.
Poor Steve, man, he was such a sweetheart. He would write me back.
He'd actually write you back.
Yeah, he would take the time to write me back.
Amazing.
I look back on that and I'm just like, oof. Oh, I'm sorry, Steve.
Yeah. I think one of the worst blunders Hollywood ever made was making the movie 300.
Yeah.
Instead of making the movie Gates of Fire, because it's the same historical event, and Gates of Fire was actually competing with the script of 300 for the movie rights, and 300 won because it was more about six-pack abs than it was about the depth of the.
It was a comic book movie.
It was a comic book movie. It wasn't about Leonidas and the actual the Spartans and the depth of their culture. And that you get in Gates of Fire.
It bummed me out, not just because Gates of Fire is my favorite novel, but because when you compare those two products, and Steve is very smart when he, and he's right when he talks about this. There's space for both, and he's right. There absolutely is. But I was heartbroken because I was emailing him back then during that time when 300 came out, and there were some heavy hitters attached. For a while there, it was like Bruce Willis might play Leonidas.
Wow.
George Clooney might play Leonidas. Michael Mann might direct it. There was some awesome stuff that was in the works. And the thing about Gates of Fire that I always loved was it draws from two things primarily in Stephen Pressfield. One is he has a degree in psychology from Duke University.
Okay.
So he understands, and Jungian psychology. So he understands Jungian archetypes. He understands the dyad. It's something he actually explicitly uses in Gates of Fire. So it's a smart book, right?
Yeah.
It's a brainy book. It's a wordy book, but in a good way. It makes you want to go to the dictionary to learn what this word means. My vocabulary was so beautifully expanded by Gates of Fire. But the other thing is, Stephen Pressfield was also a Marine.
Okay.
So he has that hard George Patton chesty, polar kind of grit, that
Yeah.
masculine.
He's a man.
Yeah, he's got that. He's got that
Yeah,
man energy.
he's a dude.
You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it shows up in his writing. So it feels grounded without being cerebral, but it feels elevated without being lowbrow.
Condescending. Or
Lowbrow.
Lowbrow. Okay.
Yeah, you know. And 300 was good too. Like, I had the comic book. I read the comic book. Actually, Jeremy Grady gave me the comic book for my birthday
Grady.
one year. Yeah,
Cool.
Old Grady. And back in the Lee University days. So shout out to Jeremy, if he's still alive. No, I don't know. He should be, right? Maybe. I don't know.
Chances aren't good, but continue.
Right. But you know, so I liked the comic book. It was a nice compliment, you know, but very different. But man, yeah, in an alternate universe, in an alternate reality, you know, Firefly gets seasons 2, 3, and 4, and Gates of Fire is a movie.
That's awesome.
Know? So,
That's awesome.
But yeah, we're gonna have Stephen Pressfield back on July 31st, and same time, Sunday, 4:30 Central Time, and it's going to be amazing. We're going to talk about his new book that he has coming out called Put Your Ass Where Your Heart Wants to Be. It's another one of his creative motivational books, and we are
it's the next step after the War of Art.
It really is. He has a series of those, you know, whether it's the War of Art, Do the Work, the Warrior Ethos. My gosh, there are probably 4 or 5 at this point, but the War of Art is the main one. He's been on Joe Rogan because of it. He's been on Oprah because of it. You know,
that's his seminal nonfiction work.
It really is, yeah. And Put Your Ass Where Your Heart Wants to Be is really the next step in self-actualizing the principles of the War of Art. Yeah. And man, it's cool. Yeah. So yeah, there's been a lot of exciting stuff that's gone on. It's been amazing. But dude, being interviewed by Derek Gilbert today.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Man.
It was really great because we talked about, and this kind of ties into the topic of the video. We talked about how traditional Christian publishers have to have everything sterile. It has to meet a nice little template if it's going to be a part of their fiction lineup. You know, we have self-published our books, so we can break those rules.
Right. Oh yeah.
You know, because we want to reach people with good messages. We want to reach people with logos.
Yeah.
You know, we want to talk about good themes, and we want our characters to be real and gritty, and we want to cross some boundaries.
Yeah.
To make it a little edgy, but still deliver those strong logos-driven values.
Yeah.
How does your book, Heavenly Realms, well, your whole series, Heavenly Realms, but you know, let's start with the first one, Imperium Falling. How does it break those rules?
Man, that's a good question. It well, first of all, it humanizes the angels, which I think is really important. I was at a real crossroads. We talked about this a little bit in Derek's interview with us. You know, of like, what do you do with the characters, with your characters for this world, this angelic world?
Yeah.
Do you make them the fantastical creatures that are in the Bible as they're depicted in the Bible, or do you treat that maybe as metaphor or vision and dress them up in human garb? Yeah. And my choice.
Well, when you're a spiritual being, if you're an everlasting being, there are no stakes in any action. Yeah. You know, there's nothing at risk. You had to, basically give them, in a way, flesh.
You did. You had to create a world. That's such a good way of putting it. You had to create a world where, you know, loss meant something.
It means they were out of the fight.
Yeah, they're out of the fight. And they also have been separated from the Empyrean for so long.
Which is basically the throne of God, the
highest level of God, which is pure light and pure energy, just existing with God. Yeah. You know, in this incorporeal state, this eternal state, you know. Or if you're a fallen angel, there's hell, which you for sure don't want to go to.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so you're out of the fight, you know, and you've been separated from this world for so long, from, you know, the Empyrean. Like, even some of the angels were not really sure if there's any going back, you know. Like, there's a lot of what I realized I had to do. What the point of the Heavenly Realms series was to humanize the angels so that I could tell our story and our struggles through their eyes. Yeah. You know, and through their struggles. And even though it's kind of like Lord of, or, you know, 300 meets the Book of Revelations, you know, as Nick has so eloquently pointed out in a review. You know?
His book is the movie Gettysburg
Yeah.
meets 300.
Yeah.
It's the
But
the
it's all
action, the
angels.
complexity of characters from both sides,
Mhm.
the Great War
Sibling rivalry.
meets 300, meaning the Spartan-esque Greek warfare style
Yeah.
meets the Book of Revelation.
Yeah. Where it's
The angelic
angels.
events that
Yeah.
happen, the cataclysmic God
Yeah.
events, and the war between heaven and hell.
Yeah.
All of those in one story.
Yeah. And
It's awesome.
It was thanks, man. It was a lot of fun to write, and it was a real journey. It took 20 years to get them published. It took
Over a decade to write.
Yeah, it took at least a decade to actually write all 7 of them, which back then in my in my 20s was like unheard of. You know, I mean, most of the time you're kind of lucky if it's different nowadays, but back then you were kind of lucky if you could crank out one novel every 2 years. And dude, like Sturm and Drang, the third one, the one about the flood.
Oh, it's just really good.
Dude, I wrote this entire book during the season of Lent in 2007.
That's awesome.
350 pages in 40 days and 40 nights. I mean, it was like, and that also speaks to the power of Lent, by the way. You know, observing Lent. I mean, it just, and I didn't plan for that to happen. That one just came gushing out of me. So, yeah, you tell a story that people can relate to. And for me, in order for me to be able to do that, I had to make them human. I had to make them human-like, anthropomorphize them.
Yeah.
You know, they had to look like us, talk like us. They ate, they wore clothes, they had castles, swords, armor. You know, and you could, and I rationalized all of that within the cosmology of the world. I explained why this is all like this. You know, because sometimes people would have that argument, but also back then, none of this supernatural stuff existed.
Yeah.
I mean, there were the prophecy movies, there was Dogma, and then there was
Paradise
Lost.
Within like traditional Christian publishing.
Yes,
there
Frank
was.
Peretti.
Yeah, Frank Peretti was basically it.
But even his stuff, though, the angels were, if correctly, the angels were kind of the main characters, but the humans were the main characters too. You know, he was telling a modern story, you know, that involved, you know, the saving of human souls. And it's great. Piercing the Darkness, This Present Darkness, like they're all really good. But my thing was I wanted to tell, you know, a story about brother against brother and civil war. Yeah. You know, and angelic warfare.
Civil War is going to happen, by the way. Coming live to a nation near you. This book is very timely.
You know what? Actually, there is some stuff in this book that was because I had
prescient.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah,
because this book was published. Empyrean Fallen was published in 2019. I had written the book obviously many years before that, but some stuff had happened in that time with certain political groups and certain elections and certain riots and dust-ups and all sorts of stuff, that when I was going back and revising this book for publication in 2019, I was like, you know what? Some of this stuff that's happening is actually going right into this.
Nice.
It dovetailed so nicely. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And but you know what? That flavor never would have happened. It's funny how God works, man. That flavor never would have happened if I had published that book back in 2005 and then 2008 when I first tried. You know? So it just which is one of the themes of the book, is like, man, you just gotta like let go and let God. You know, like it's okay. If it doesn't work out, it's okay. It's like with some of the guests that we've wanted to have. You know, Nick and I were talking about this a while back, that, you know, you don't want to go chasing after the people who say no. And we've had some people say no, and you don't want to go chasing after the people who don't respond. You know, like
when we reach out to people to be guests on our live stream. We've had some amazing, outstanding, top tier people say yes, as you guys know.
That we do not deserve to have it all.
We don't deserve it.
We don't.
And then there have been people. Then there have been the people who also know we don't deserve it, and they said no. And they said no.
And we don't fault them for that.
No,
we don't. We don't fault them at all for that.
We do not.
We've only ever said no to one person, because of our friendship with Gary Wayne. But then outside of that, you know, he
just wanted to bring strife and confrontation and argument.
It was not a healthy.
That's not what we're about.
We're not. There's enough of that already. We're trying to link with people and positively discuss things that are beneficial to, anybody who
Yep.
tunes in.
The seeker.
Yeah, yeah. And we've had some people, I've had plenty of people who, never got back to me. And I would try 2 or 3 times, and eventually you just kind of get to a point where you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
Like, God, if God wants this to happen,
Yep.
it'll happen.
Yep.
I've done my part.
Yeah. It's just like at work. I'm in sales. I'll talk to somebody a first time. I'll send them some, proposal.
Mm-hmm.
I'll follow up with them as a very specific number of times. Then after I hit that mark, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stop bothering them.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a bother to people. If they're interested, if they see the opportunity here,
Mm-hmm.
they'll say yes eventually, and they'll come back. They believe me. They have my email.
Right. Yeah.
They know my phone number. So they can reach out to me. But we gotta, we're gonna be in pursuit of more guests.
Yeah.
And the right ones will say yes.
Yeah.
And you got to keep grinding at it. And the right ones will say yes.
They will. They always do. We've never had a bad guest.
No, we haven't.
Even the ones who maybe didn't share our values, or didn't share.
We haven't even had a worst guest. Like of all the people we've talked to,
yeah,
all of the interviews have been so interesting.
Yeah.
Natasha
Rawls.
Oh, she was awesome.
Dr. Polt, Dr. Richard Polt.
Richard Polt from Typewriter Revolution.
Yeah, John Bernardo. We gotta have John Bernardo back.
Humor writer.
Oh, he's
Dude
so funny.
So funny.
Yeah.
John Anderson, Christian Western author.
Yeah.
That kid I say kid, he's younger than me, so I say
you're right.
He's awesome. His characters are actually really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adam Burrell, our narrator.
Oh.
We've had Adam on a few times.
Adam is a Gosling.
He is a Gosling. He's not even
honorary
a guest.
Gosling.
He is the honorary guest of any event.
Yep.
And then Stephen Pressfield, Gary Wayne, Derek Gilbert,
Pete from Creepy Little Book.
Oh, Pete from Creepy Little Book. That was one of the the most fun episodes we've ever done.
It was amazing.
Yeah, and Pete brings the heat, baby.
Yeah, he does. He's so fun.
Oh, Heat Pete. He's Creepy Little Book. That's another one. I've been a fan of Creepy Little Book for a while. His YouTube channel, Creepy Little Book.
Yeah.
You should definitely check it out. It covers all the interesting things that we talk about and more. And he's been at it for years, and he's such a fascinating guy to talk to. It just has a wealth of knowledge, about a vast array of topics.
Mm-hmm.
And he was amazing, and he brings his fans with him, so the chat is always
the chat's super lively. And I'll say this too, like if anyone watching this either live or after the fact, if there's someone in particular that you'd like to see us interview, we will reach out to them and ask them to be on the live stream.
And if
just
you
drop their name in the comments of the video, and we'll ask them. I have no shame. I do not care. I will make a fool of myself for you because we actually do this for you.
Yeah, that's right.
It's because I like the chat. I think it's fun.
Nick has a really adorable jester outfit that he puts on.
I should get one. I love a good fool. I got a picture of one right up there.
Yeah, that's right.
I have a plaque jester picture up there. It's my favorite picture. I keep it here in the Tiki Lounge. Maybe I should do that. Halloween. Maybe I'll be a jester for Halloween.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That'd be cool. Do some juggling. Tell some raunchy jokes.
Yeah.
You be the king. Dress you up as a king. Get the furry frilled robe and the crown, and be grumpy. And just be grumpy.
Yeah.
You got the beard. Look at regal beard.
Get some donuts.
And I'll dance around you and try to make you laugh. I'll take
sing the funny song. Do you know the one I like?
I'll toss some midgets.
Get your kids out here.
Yeah, great. It'd be awesome. I'll put a little jester hat with bells on Shelby, my dog.
Oh, perfect.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
I'll be a whole troop.
I'll get Lily, and she can wear a little outfit, and she can.
I might actually get a jester costume for Halloween.
Yeah, I think it'd
be super fun.
Yeah,
it'd be cool.
So tune in
anyway.
October 31st,
Well,
everyone.
Definitely
for the Halloween extravaganza, for the Halloween embarrassment episode.
Well, I'll have a giant cod piece.
Yes, of course.
Giant glow in the dark cod piece.
Yeah, a mixture of
you could land the
Homelander
F-14
from The Boys and Sting's bird cod piece from Dune, which I have been searching for.
The Edgar Allan Poe Raven beak.
Yeah,
cod piece.
Yeah, most people don't know about 1980s Dune, and it's a real tragedy because Sting is in it, and there's a scene where he's wearing like this brass
It's awesome.
bird.
Dude, the
codpiece
two best
mankini thing.
I mean,
and no one makes this.
Mankini.
I will pay good money. There are 3D printers. There's no reason why someone can't make this.
Dude,
I will pay good money.
They'll
for
run
one
out of
those.
plastic for me. I'll tell you that right now. No, the two best things about Dune are Sting's codpiece and Battle Pug.
Battle Pug.
Patrick Stewart holding
Yeah.
a little pug in his arms.
Yeah,
As
with a laser rifle in the other hand, and the Atreides flag waving in the back. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's Battle Pug is great. The next best thing would be because Mimi Sherry Hooper.
Yeah.
She has a corgi. Battle corgi.
Battle Corgi. You know what? I would actually be a little afraid of Battle Corgi.
I would too.
I would
They're
be more
smart.
afraid
They're
of
smarter
Battle
than
Corgi.
pugs, man.
Yeah, I'd be more afraid of Battle Corgi than Battle Pug.
Absolutely.
You know. Yeah, 1980s Dune. If you
Yes.
think like the new Dune is cool,
A little more.
the 80s Dune is honestly it's just a 2.5 hour.
You should
mean
not watch a
extravaganza.
remake until you have
Well,
watched
watch
the
the
original. You can't appreciate it. There's a whole. I mean, that's half of the enjoyment of a
Of
remake.
a remake, yeah. Well, and I think the original was honestly done better because they were able to tell the full story of Dune in two to 2.5 hours.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's
good
actually in a weird way, and it caught a lot of flack at the time. Like a lot of fans of the book don't like the movie. Whatever. I've read
Yeah.
the book. The movie's still good. Like
Yeah.
I think people, need to like, excise.
When you
the-
say
the
Dune, most
stick.
people think of the original movie.
You would think. I mean, most people our age do.
Yeah.
Like I'm 39.
Like, oh yeah, I remember the
Nick, you-
movie. They're like, yeah, but have you read the book? No, they probably saw the movie, never read the book.
Right.
But there are a lot of people who read the book. But I mean, the original movie, not the remake, but the
Yeah.
original movie, I think probably has the most recognition
It,
of Gen Xers.
of Gen Xer.
Yeah.
And I am like a proto millennial. Like I'm right on the line between millennial and Gen X.
You're an honorary, at
You know-
minimum, honorary Gen Xer. I
You
think
know
you're
what?
Gen
Thank
X.
you. I like that.
Yeah,
Yes.
you don't want to be a millennial. No
No, I-
offense.
No.
No offense, millennials.
No, millennials know. We know. That's why we're having this conversation right now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean that's a total.
Do you know what the next generation after millennial is? It's Gen Z.
Gen Z? Yeah.
You know what's after that? You know what they call it?
Gen Alpha?
The Alpha Gen. Yeah.
The Alpha Gen.
Yep.
I like
Which is
that.
basically Eva May for sure. It's Alpha generation. My daughter.
Yeah.
Christian is actually right on the very line.
Oh yeah.
He could be Gen Z or Alpha. By God, he'll be Alpha.
He'll be Alpha. Yeah.
My boy's Alpha.
Yes, he is.
100%
To the Alpha boys.
to the Alpha. To the Alpha generation. We're gonna raise them right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we've talked about our guests.
Yep.
We've talked about what we did today, which was
Yep.
awesome. I want to give a quick shout out. We're going to talk more about this on the 31st, but I want to give a quick shout out to Joel Cherico of Cherico Pottery.
Yes.
We got these Kothon Spartan mugs from him, and these things are amazing. Handmade, hand painted Spartan Kothon mugs. I initially found out about these through Stephen Pressfield's Man at Arms promo for this book. I think it was last year. He was running a promo for these on Instagram where you could win one of these mugs. And I didn't win one. I thought they were awesome. And so anyways, I reached out to Joel, who is the owner and operator of Cherico Pottery, and Owen Kothon. That's right.
Owen?
Yeah, I think it's
Huge. I'm gonna-
Thon.
Owen.
Cool name, by the way.
I know.
Kothon. And so anyways, I reached out to Joel at Cherico Pottery and asked him if he had any of these, and he did. He had a couple, and so we got some, and they are awesome. He is very, very talented. He's got a ton of really cool stuff. So check him out on Instagram. I think he probably has a website too, but Cherico Pottery is,
Guys, if you want to write like Stephen Pressfield,
you need one.
you
of
need to
these.
drink like Stephen Pressfield.
Yeah, that's right.
I think
Yeah.
it's a chapter in this new book. Put your
Yeah.
lips where your heart wants to be.
Put your lips where your tummy wants to be.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. There is a very like Hemingway.
You can fill it. You can put
Yes.
your soda in there.
6-pack of beer, soda. For all you Gen Xers, you get it. For all you millennials out there, you might not have seen Tommy
This is a
Boy.
wonderful gift. Jonathan actually gifted this mug to me. So
Yeah.
thank you, by the way. It's
Oh, yeah,
fantastic.
absolutely.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to have these on the table when we interview Stephen Pressfield. We want
Yeah.
to talk about that. He'll probably want to mention them as well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
these are These are fantastic pieces.
Yeah, they're
You'll
cool.
be seeing a lot of these on future
I think so.
live streams.
Yeah. So, it's dude. We haven't done this in a while. I think was Derek our last guest, or was Roxana our last?
Roxana was our last guest.
Yeah. Roxana's making a map for me.
She is creating a map for Imperium Falling.
And dude, it's crazy. I think we've had a couple Zoom meetings so far. I think we're gonna have our final Zoom meeting on Wednesday.
That's cool.
So in 3 days, and Roxana _BO Arts on Instagram, or just Roxana. If you just like Google Roxana BO Arts, or if you look her up on Facebook, you'll find her. She is from Costa Rica. She's beautiful. She's extremely talented.
Living in Mexico right now.
Mexico City. Yeah, and fascinating. We interviewed her. She is such a smart cookie. And if you're a writer and you're looking for someone to illustrate or paint, like she did 3 paintings. For Heavenly Realms for Imperium Falling. And very affordable and extremely talented. Like her insight into your stuff is she is the Adam Burrell of the visual medium. Like Adam Burrell is our narrator, and what
that's
Adam fair. You know what I mean?
What
fair. Adam does with your characters and the insights that he gives into your characters and the way he literally breathes
Adam's voice, Roxana's eye.
Oh my gosh.
Now I just need to find an editor.
Right? Yeah. And you know what? I've used Adam for
and I know Adam can certainly do that. Yeah.
Dude, Adam Burrell is actually a pretty awesome editor.
I'm not surprised.
Surprised. Well, because for an editor, you can always go to storygrid.com if you're looking for a good editor, whether it's a copy editor or a conceptual or content editor, developmental editor. But man, an editor is like a spouse in your project. It really, really matters. Having someone who is engaged in the material, because both of the books that you're looking at right now were professionally edited, and as much as we enjoyed and appreciated to have having the edits done, both of these sort of suffered from a mercenary approach to editing. That you need someone who loves the material and who gets it and who's like plugged into your brain. Or
at least plugged into your story, that knows what you're envisioning.
Right.
The story.
Yeah.
And, for sure. It's tough, man.
And it's tough. It's just like finding a spouse, man. It's like, man, it's tough finding the right editor.
Yeah.
And this editor is very well accomplished, but we both kind of had to branch out and find somebody who is going to be more engaged in the content.
Oh, I got to give a shout out right here.
Yeah?
Yep, I got to give a shout out right here. J. Reese Bradley.
Oh, yeah. We were just talking about you earlier today.
I was telling Jonathan about, just your excitement and sharing that you've read the timepiece and you were doing a review on your Instagram page. And just want to say thank you for that.
Nick was super excited.
I'm super excited. Yeah. You've been so generous, and you actually gave me absolutely. Cheers to Miss Bradley, and she gave the timepiece. Now this is published in 2018, so almost 4 years ago.
Yeah, wow, man, that time flies.
The highest accolade this book has ever gotten.
Really?
She said, and I have it here in writing.
Don't cry.
I'm trying not to. It's hard when you're drinking rye whiskey. But she said it was the best self-published book she's ever read.
Wow.
She said that. She said that.
Well,
it's too late. Can't take it back.
Jay, you haven't read my books yet. So,
well, that's true. You haven't read Imperium Falling.
No.
Her husband might actually really like them. I don't know.
Yeah, Nick was telling me that you left
Thank you so much.
That's awesome.
That's so great.
Jay, Nick was telling me that you left like a multi-part review of the timepiece on your Instagram.
Yeah, across multiple stories.
Yeah, man, that's amazing. Jay, if you want, and you're a writer as well, if I remember correctly.
She's an author. Yep.
So if you want to drop your Instagram handle or any way that people can follow you or get in touch with you in the live chat, by all means, please do it. It's the least, it's the least we could do. For
Absolutely.
Your glowing praise of my brother's
Absolutely.
work. Yeah, that's awesome.
Man, I was just so thrilled.
Man, you need that. You need that every now and then. You just
well, because after
writing is a solitary experience.
It is, and there's a whole series, and after and this is the first one I did, and it was great. It's really the foundation of the entire story.
Yeah.
And after 4 years, just trying to figure out what am I writing next, and kind of picking at that and prodding at that, picking and poking, so to speak. After a while, you're like, you kind of lose. You don't lose faith, but when someone makes a positive compliment about the first book that you did, and affirms that it was really great, it kind of puts some wind back in you.
It absolutely does.
You're right. This was cool. Just because I did it 4 years ago doesn't mean it's not good. I mean, I've gotten better, but it's like that. That's helpful. It's motivational.
It's being adrift on a cloudy, moonless ocean and then seeing the sunrise. And you're like, oh, there it is. Yes, now I have light that I can
exactly
navigate my way back home, so I'm not,
And look at this compliment, and this is amazing. Thank you so much, Sid. I'm desperate for another great fantasy series, and Nick's books was such an amazing surprise. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. This is more adult. This is, military, angelic,
fighting
warfare. Yeah. Fantastic. Awesome. I'm glad you joined the.
Yeah.
And she gave the Goslings a shout out in one of the the stories too.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So fantastic. Thank you for that.
Awesome.
So
you need that every now and then. I had a lady, probably my favorite review. I used to talk to her on Instagram a little bit. I believe her name was Marty Haas. Older lady, or middle-aged, from probably, I want to say she was like in Texas or something. Anyways, sweet lady. She left an amazing review for Empyrean Falling. It said, and this is like the second highest praise anybody could ever give you. She said, this book got me back into reading.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that could be better than that, it's like, this book compelled me to, accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior.
That's like the only thing.
Yeah, the only thing possibly be better.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
So, I mean, you need those every now and then, and that's why like I always make a point, if I read something that I love, like, you gotta leave a review, because unless, and Jay, you understand this because you're a writer, but if you're not a writer, you have to like understand that writing is, for the most part, a very solitary, lonely. It may not be lonely.
Can be.
Because you're existing with your own characters, and you're in your own head. But it tends to be an isolating experience, and you almost, especially when you're doing a series, whether it's the Timepiece or the Travelers League series or the Heavenly Realms series, that's years of living with your own characters and your own stories. And sometimes the feedback is so, you're just wandering in the desert looking for an oasis, and it's just, if there's no feedback, you really start to like get parched. And
there have been some characters that I've created.
So reviews mean the world to us.
Yeah, reviews mean the world. Absolutely. There's been some characters that I wouldn't even say I've created them. They just kind of appeared, so to speak, like they came.
As Pressfield would say, the muse gave them to you.
Yeah, but what's interesting is in a couple cases, there were characters that just they came out of left field, nowhere, and I'm like, started writing them into the story, and people didn't like them.
No, really?
Yeah, you'd think that.
Really?
The universe is giving you this character, and people don't like it.
Yeah.
So screw the universe. That's what I say.
Right. Yeah. That's funny.
Be intentional about the characters you're creating.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what? What you like as a writer is almost never what the audience likes.
Isn't that the truth?
It's so funny how it works. Yep. Like everybody's favorite character in the Heavenly Realms series is usually not my favorite character. Or like you had the same thing with your wife in like one of the chapters that you wrote.
Yeah, it was like it was kind of just a filler chapter, just to make sure that what happened next in the story would be understandable.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of had to be in there so that the plot was whole.
A yeoman-like chapter.
Yeah, and I just, I wasn't into it. I just banged it out, and it was her favorite chapter. She loved it. It was great. Like,
I'll never understand my audience.
And then I know. I didn't like, and I write this scene. It's emotional. It's deep. It's like a critical scene, and I put poor, and it's like people are like, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. But okay,
You never know.
you never know. And that's the thing. You can't write. I don't know. This is my black and white binary thinking, but like, I don't think you can write for your audience. It's a good idea to get audience feedback.
That's some dangerous talk right there. For a lot of authors, they're like, "Oh, you got to write to market. You got to write to market."
I mean, you can, but like, what are you producing when you do? I guess, like, it's passion or paycheck, and there can be overlap. Those are not mutually exclusive by any means. The Venn diagram overlaps, especially if you're lucky, if you're blessed, But if it doesn't, it's okay. Because you can't constantly gauge. You're chasing validation from a bunch of people who don't really care what you make as long as it's what they want. And if you make this group happy, you don't make this group happy.
I wonder if C.S. Lewis was writing to market.
I mean, there is a right. There is.
Well, he's an exception. He's an icon. He's a classic. There's a reason his books have stood the test of time.
Yeah.
There's a reason that parents, for generation after generation, keep saying,
timeless.
"You should read this."
Yeah. Yeah. We all had the Chronicles of Narnia as kids.
Yeah.
We all had the box set.
Yeah.
And there is something you want to respect your audience, and you want to care about what your audience likes, and it's good to get feedback. But at the end of the day, if you're chasing a 4-quadrant, what they call in Hollywood a 4-quadrant movie.
Yep.
You want to get the old people, you want to get the the young people, you want to get the kids, you want to and you're like, oh, and you're trying to game the algorithm, like, oh, we should put a dog in it. And like, we should have the hero do this, we need a love interest, and we need to fill this demographic. If you're doing those things, you're just killing the soul of the work.
You are. If you're aligning your story and your creative work to an identity among the population, then you're doing yourself a disservice. There's plenty of that out there.
There's already a ton of that stuff.
There is, and it becomes more about that than it does about the underlying current of values.
Right. What's the message that you want to give? And I mean,
the story is about Luke Skywalker becoming a Jedi and Anakin having this amazing redemption moment.
Yeah.
It's not about the fact that Luke was white or black or gay or straight.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody cares about that. They wrote it because it wasn't about any of those things, or guy or girl. It wasn't about any of those things. It was about the powerful themes
of redemption
and
fatherhood and
loyalty.
And
and doing the right thing.
Yeah. Throwing the lightsaber away.
Yeah.
Throwing the lightsaber away is the greatest moment in Return of the Jedi.
I agree.
Oh my god.
Well, I don't know. It's hard because you have that scene where Vader
throws the Emperor.
He does, and then he has that touching moment with Luke.
Yeah, that's
true. Those are powerful themes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And here's the thing, you want to care about your audience, and you want to make sure that you're reaching your audience, which is why I made the Angels in the Heavenly Realm series human, which is disappointing to a lot of people, that they're not these fantastical beasts, this bestiary of, magical chimera.
I got to show this comment.
Oh yeah.
You're going to love this. Yeah. Check this out. Jay said, C.S. Lewis definitely did not write to market. And if you are writing to market now, you're writing woke BS. Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you for saying it.
The topical nature of the current market is such a minefield. And even if it weren't woke BS, which it absolutely is right now.
Yeah.
Just look at Disney, But even if it weren't, it pinholes it into this little grain of sand on the beach that is eternity.
Yeah.
And it won't be relevant. It won't be relevant in 5 months, much less 5 years or 5 decades.
Absolutely. And Jay knows this too, because she is part of the same, some of the same currents and trends on Instagram that I am. If you search the hashtag middle grade fiction, and you're going to see 4 out of 5 posts are absolutely woke BS, and they're ramming it down the throats of 8 to 12-year-old children.
See, that's like, dude, I can't talk about that really on this platform.
I know you get angry,
but
I appreciate that another fellow author
in me,
recognizes.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to hear that, Jay, because honestly, Nick and I are so in lockstep on that like sometimes we feel like no one else in the writing world sees what we see.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
It's easy to feel isolated,
well, and that's
because
that is
authors are
the-
afraid to speak out because they know that the overall industry, if you want to call it that, is
Yeah.
just so dominated by wokeism.
You know who gets that especially well is Adam. Adam even has a harder
That's
line
true.
than we do.
Yeah,
Like
ways in the
Adam's
UK.
Adam's like anti Harry Potter, and I respect it. I'm like, you know what, man? I like it. You know, I mean, and I love Harry Potter.
I love Harry Potter up
Yeah.
until the most recent Fantastic Beasts movie, and I'm
Oh,
like,
right.
why did you have to do that?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, such a
Where
disappointment.
Dumbledore
It
was
was-
all about the Dumbledee. Good night, folks.
The Dumbledee! Oh my god! Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's so.
Jay, I want to
Oh
thank
my
you
goodness.
for recommending those My Heavenly Realm series to all of your adult friends who are into fantasy, and I also want to apologize for my previous comment. No, I didn't.
Well, the thing about how, when I went to see Harry Potter, and I've introduced my kids to all the movies.
Yeah.
Well, most of the movies. They're the first 3 or 4 of the Harry Potter series, and then all of the Fantastic Beasts movies.
Yeah.
Because I think movies 4 through 7,
Yeah,
something like
there's
that.
7 movies.
They start to get a little dark. I want my kids to be a
They're
little
pretty rough.
older before they go down those trails. But everything we've enjoyed about Harry Potter has been, it's been wonderful.
whimsical.
It's been great. It's
Yeah.
been an escape, and that's the thing. People want to
Yeah.
go when they jump
Yeah.
into a book or they go to a movie. They want to be able to escape
Mm-hmm.
the anxiety they feel when they watch the news.
Yeah, when you go out into the world, the
Yeah.
theater is a place to escape.
Yeah,
That's why I think, and I haven't seen it yet. I really want to, but I think that's why a lot of people like the new Top Gun movie.
dude, it's escapism.
Right.
They just want to have a good story, action.
Yeah.
Good themes. They want to escape.
Yeah.
They don't want to go to Top Gun Maverick and see more woke themes
Right.
that they're seeing everywhere else.
Yeah.
They just don't. That's why it's a smash.
Yeah.
That's also why Lightyear
Is a complete failure.
is a complete
I have
box
heard
office.
this.
I mean, it's a complete
It
failure.
hurts my heart a little bit because we all love Toy Story so much.
And we all
but-
love Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, we all love Buzz Lightyear. We love Tim Allen, but of course, Tim Allen's verboten now.
He's verboten, so he
You know,
couldn't do it.
right.
And you know what? It's good that he didn't. He would
Yeah,
not
it
want to
is.
be tied to what Lightyear has
Yeah.
became. Really,
Yeah,
my opinion.
very true.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jay says,
Let's see,
we
let's
aren't
see.
alone in our thoughts, guys. That's really true. And the
Yep.
decentralization that
Appreciate
has
that.
been thrust upon us by the globo homo community, of the globalized homogenization community,
Yep.
with the internet to get you to be friends with someone in New Zealand but not know your neighbor, really does have this insidious way of isolating you, and making you feel disconnected. And that sword can cut both ways,
Mhm.
good and bad.
Mhm.
But yeah, they want you to feel isolated, especially if you're not on board with whatever agenda they're pushing. Right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Jay also says, and that's the other thing, we need more stuff from Christian authors
Yeah.
that isn't squeaky clean.
Right. That's so true. Derek and us were talking about that on the interview. We were talking about the struggles that you have, maybe even before the interview actually started. We were sort of talking about the struggles that you have.
It was an underlying theme to the whole interview.
Yeah, as a Christian author, trying to tell these stories, that need to be told. And the human condition is fraught with sin. And life is messy. And so it's like, whether you're writing for, middle grade fiction, whether you're writing for kids like 8 to 14, or whether you're writing for fighting age males, 18 to 50,
Or
You
writing
know?
for young adult
or writing for young adult with Henry Half
with
Moon,
Henry Half Moon.
Nick's urban supernatural
Paranormal urban fantasy.
paranormal
Yep.
urban fantasy book, which is honestly, it's actually my
It's so
favorite
creepy.
of all of his books that he's done. It's really cool.
It was my favorite to write.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was so much fun, standing out on the porch, talking about the development of Henry Half Moon over the years,
Yeah.
being at ground zero for that.
Yeah.
That is really fun. But anytime you're writing about that stuff, if you keep it squeaky clean, it's so boring. It's just there's nothing that's tangible and accessible. There's no meat. There's no there's no raw, medium rare steak to chew on there.
And it's
just
because
empty calorie. It's like tofu.
yeah,
It's like
there's been
spiritual
this
tofu.
unspoken precedent
Yeah.
that Christian fiction has to align theologically
Mm-hmm.
with established doctrines, with mainstream denominations. It's got to fit within the confines of of biblical doctrine.
Mm-hmm.
And while I agree that truth should always align with Scripture,
Yeah.
I don't agree that a fantasy fictional work
Right.
should reflect supernatural reality.
Right.
That's not the idea behind fantasy.
Well, no one faults C.S. Lewis or Tolkien for now. They're slightly different animals because Tolkien was very deliberate in not wanting his books to, be equated with any sort of metaphor, topical or allegorical, whatever. But C.S. Lewis was not like that. C.S. Lewis, did have a Christian bent to his books, but I mean, he's got all sorts of fantastical creatures in it.
Yep.
He has Santa Claus.
Yeah. Father
I mean,
Christmas
yeah.
shows up.
And so, like, all of this stuff is so
He's got Pan.
right, and people draw biblical, spiritual, Christian values from those books the same way they do from Lord of the Rings with their values. With the value and morality structure and the ethics of Lord of the Rings, without it being cookie cutter, Sunday school, Southern Baptist Convention approved. Although even that, after the Rick Warren debacle, is not.
Yeah,
so,
well, then Derek Gilbert said the same thing. It's like he saw this, this pattern of Christian fiction being basically every book's about, some Amish woman.
Right.
Or a pioneer woman.
Well, it's the publishing world for the longest time, and probably still, was notoriously conservative in its risk taking or its lack thereof. And so the publishing world already, because most books are printed at a loss, so they're already not wanting to take a risk.
Right.
Then you get into the Christian publishing world, which is even exponentially more adverse to taking any sort of risk.
Right.
So, they only want.
They'll throw the baby out with the bathwater. You don't capitalize G when you type the word God.
Right. Yeah.
And it's a wash. The reader's like, no, I can't do this. No.
Yeah. And who's buying those books and who's reading those books? And maybe that industry is failing and has been failing for the past 25 years because of that position.
Yeah, maybe.
Like maybe the
It's a good
Christian
point.
publishing
Good
industry
point.
needs books like The Traveler, needs books like Henry Halfman, which are very risk taking.
Well, and they need books like, quite honestly, they need books like yours because men need to be reading things that stimulate them.
Yeah.
That they understand. They understand warfare. They understand camaraderie and brotherhood.
Yeah.
They understand the complexity of the enemy. And they understand that good guys aren't 100% good. They're conflicted.
Yeah.
And bad guys aren't necessarily 100% evil. They're conflicted too.
Right.
That's what makes a character interesting.
Yeah. The only thing, right. What makes Vader interesting is the fact that he wants Luke to join him.
Yeah.
And that he does have that remorse, And what makes Luke interesting is that, like,
He's tempted.
and he doesn't do the right thing all the time,
Yep.
And I still like stories where good guys are good and bad guys are bad, but it doesn't have to be 100% black and white. Like Michael, and I wish I had talked about the masculinity angle with Heavenly Realms with Derek. I forgot to mention that, but it's true. These books were written for fighting age males, and there's nothing really, well, maybe it's different now, but for the longest time, there was nothing out there in Christian fiction that really spoke to men. The closest thing I had was my favorite novel, Gates of Fire, which was not
Stephen
a Christian
Pressfield.
book.
Yep.
Yeah, Stephen Pressfield's book about Thermopylae.
Yep.
So these books scratched an itch for me.
And now Man at Arms.
Yeah, oh my gosh, and Man at Arms. You want to talk about a book that like comes close
Dude.
to that? This thing.
It's about a Greek mercenary who
Yeah.
fought for Rome, sent on a special mission
Yeah.
to stop a letter
Yeah.
that this new sect had arisen in
Religious
Palestine,
sect.
and they were growing,
Yeah.
and they were sending a letter to their fellow sect Christians in Corinth,
Mm-hmm.
written by some guy who calls himself Paul.
Yeah.
The character of this story is the mercenary that Rome hires to stop that letter.
To stop the because in the words
So
of
amazing.
the garrison commander in Jerusalem, this letter threatens to unravel the empire.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is,
It
Stephen
does.
Pressfield's not even a Christian.
Yeah.
Like, he's a Jew, and
Yep.
he's awesome, and he gets it. You know, Diana's a Christian, his girlfriend's a Christian.
Jay says, "Wow, that
But-
sounds amazing." It is amazing.
It's so good, and it you could totally see Jim Caviezel. Is that right?
You can see Jim Caviezel doing it. Yeah.
Was that who he thought, or was that we interviewed Steve about this? It was our
Yeah.
first interview with him.
Yeah.
We asked him. I think maybe he deferred on that one, but I think we maybe thought that we could see Jim Caviezel in that role because he's about that age.
Yeah.
And he kind of has that physique of being
Yeah.
like a mercenary, a sort of lone
know.
wolf. You know,
Jim
fox in the
Caviezel's so
woods.
good. I don't know if he's great enough to play the main character
He could
Telamon.
be.
You think so?
I think he could be.
Yeah.
There's a movie that Jim Caviezel did not too long ago that I want to see. That's about the dumps
Oof.
and and the
Yeah.
trafficking and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
And
That'd be a great
he's got
topic.
it in him. I think he's got it in
You
him.
think so?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there are a lot of actors who have, done a turn like that where you didn't think they could, but they pull it out and go, wow, that's pretty powerful. But yeah, I mean, Christian publishing is just, it's pathetic in a lot of ways, honestly. And it's also kind of a moot point because we publish through Amazon KDP. I would love to be part of a publishing house, just to have somebody do my marketing for me, so I didn't, but you can get these stories out here. Like Nick, you wrote 9 books for the Travelers League. Heavenly Realms is a 7-novel series, 6 of which have been published so far, and the values are there. The Christian values are there. The logos-driven themes are there. It may not look like Pilgrim's Progress. It may look more like Narnia. It may be dressed up in a certain way, but it's still there. And one question, that I would like to ask Derek at, in another interview is, which do you think is more powerful for certain age groups? Metaphor or literal? To tell a story like Heavenly Realms, which is more literal in its Christian presentation, even though it is about civil war and fighting and bloodshed and these horrifying epic battles and angels and all this stuff, or something that is more metaphor or more thematically ethically driven.
Well, I think metaphors
about Christian ethics.
It is about Christian ethics, and I think that when you look at the classics, and I'm just going to go with the 2 main examples, you have Lord of the Rings, and you have especially Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah,
those are metaphor.
Yeah,
and that's why they appeal to both kids and adults.
Yeah,
I don't think you should go literal with kids. I don't think you should take a story out of the Bible and tell it straight.
Right.
If you're going to write fiction, Christian fiction for kids,
dress it up a little bit.
It needs to be, it needs to be dressed up.
Yeah.
You need to break some rules.
And you're saying that as a father.
I am, absolutely.
And a homeschool dad at that.
I am, absolutely.
Nick has an awesome series on Instagram, by the way. It shows up on YouTube as well, but he has an awesome homeschool dad series on Instagram where you do a live video. Is it every Thursday?
Yeah, every Thursday night, usually around 8 Central.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. He talks about like whatever's relevant,
Try to homeschoolers, or at least to me. Whatever's relevant to me. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Jay says you need parts that kill.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, for sure. And that's something she mentioned. That's so funny that you mentioned that,
That's
Jay,
awesome.
because in your recap of the timepiece, you said one of your favorite laugh out loud moments is when the main character kills someone with a fart. And you know what? I gotta give credit to my son, because there was a lot of fart humor that, I mean, it was like all throughout the book.
Yeah.
And then my wife was one of our test readers. She's like, there's too much farting in this book. And so we had to take out a lot of the farts, but I had to leave that one in. It was critical of the story. But I got to give kudos to my son Christian for that. You know,
Awesome.
hey,
Love it.
8-year-old boys love farts, man.
Yeah, look,
farts.
39-year-old boys love farts.
Dude,
don't know
I
what
can
to
have at least one fart
tell you. You can
moment
have one fart.
in a middle grade
You're allowed
fiction.
one fart. Just
Absolutely.
like a PG-13 movie is allowed one F word, you're allowed one fart.
You're allowed
You're
one,
allowed your F word too.
just like
just-
you're allowed one fart in your third Thanksgiving dinner with your fiance. One fart. That's all. You should know that. I don't know if that's a rule.
Did you fart at Thanksgiving with the?
You know what? Rihanna's and my relationship
Mm-hmm.
is so great
Mm-hmm.
that even when we were courting, before we were engaged, we were farting in front of each other.
Good for you.
Yeah. And that's how you know you got the one.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, I say, she'd probably be mortified that I said that. And now this is immortalized on the internet. I did all the farting.
Forever.
Let's just say I did all the farting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sure.
For real. And she was cool with it.
That's love.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know?
For sure.
Yeah. Love is just breaking wind in front of.
It's important to fart early. Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
It really is.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to just like let it all out on the very first,
No.
date, so to speak.
No, you don't want to do that at the corn dog stand at the carnival.
Yeah.
At the county fair.
Yeah. But get to the point where you're making each other laugh a whole lot and then fart,
Yeah.
and then just add to the
You
laughs.
couch it in the joke.
Absolutely.
Smart.
Absolutely.
See, this is why
Yeah.
he's married. No,
Come on.
I got this wrong. I'm so not sorry, Kathleen.
Oh man, well, let's go get some Thai food.
Yeah. Speaking of which, let's go get some
Yeah, man.
Thai food and we'll test our bro love.
Speaking of farting,
Yeah. my farting.
speaking of lighting it up, my goodness.
So let's see. To recap, Nick.
Yep.
On Instagram.
Yep.
Where can we find people?
Goslings. You can find both of us on Instagram. I'm at Nick Goss Writes, and Jonathan's at Heavenly Realms Novels.
Yep.
This live stream is also on Rumble.
Yeah.
So we have YouTube and Rumble, and
Is it on Spotify also?
yeah, and we have a podcast on Spotify. I upload an episode every time we do this to Spotify.
Yeah.
And just search the Goslings. Can't miss it.
Goslings with two S's.
With two S's.
Gossling. Not like that Ryan dude.
Totally sucks.
Boy.
We had the name
Whatever.
first.
Yeah.
He's lame.
Yeah. It's like Office Space. Screw him. We had it first.
It's amazing. If I just had his face,
Oh,
I'd be sad, man.
just that
be golden.
stare, that cold, dead-eyed, emotionless stare. That all the chicks love to imprint their emotions on.
Yeah, I'm gonna
dreamy.
I'm gonna give Mimi a hard time, Sherry Hooper, because I know she likes. I think
Hey,
Ryan
I
Gosling,
like him.
so-
Hey, he's a beautiful man.
I hate him because I'm jealous,
Well, fair. Yeah.
and because I had the name Goss first. He's the one that sucks.
Yeah, he's the one. Once again, millennials. That's an office. Dude, I mentioned Office Space a couple weeks ago, and no one knew what I was talking about. Yeah, dude, that's how you know you're getting old. When you
Yeah.
mention like Tommy Boy and Office Space,
Yeah.
and people are just, oh, okay. It just put
Can
me
you
in a hole.
believe? I mean, our kids are they're going to grow up in a world that doesn't know who Austin Powers, Ron Burgundy, or Ron Swanson
Ron
are.
Swanson.
I
Yeah.
mean, come on.
Yeah, the saint of libertarianism.
All they're going to know about manhood is what me.
It's a heavy,
Please come soon,
heavy
Lord
is
Jesus.
the head that wears the crown. It's quite the mantle, It's quite the mantle you've been tasked with wearing. Speaking of wearing, we have t-shirts.
Yes,
Goslings
we do.
Teespring.
Yep, absolutely.
Definitely want to go check that out. I don't think we've ever sold a
We have
single
the
t-shirt.
Aliens Are Just Demons You Can Shoot shirts. We have behind Jonathan there on the chair. I don't know. Move the back of your chair just a little bit. You can see.
Yeah.
We got t-shirts, interviews that.
Strike down.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Strike down the darkness.
Put this right here.
Yeah.
And they're all a tri blend. So I love the material of
Super
these shirts.
soft, stretchy.
I literally, I'm not kidding. I wear these every day as an undershirt. I wear a collared shirt
Yep.
with a polo, and I wear these all the time for everything. I love them.
And I will tell you, if you order whatever your size is, order one size larger so it fits loose. You will stay cool and comfortable.
Yeah.
You will never take it off.
Yeah.
It is so soft.
Yeah, I love the material because it's kind of thin, but it's not threadbare, and it's a little stretchy. The tri-blend shirts are always the way to go.
Yeah, they fit
If you're
great.
looking to make any t-shirts for your own stuff, definitely, using tri-blend
You almost
through
executed me there. I don't know.
Teespring. I know. Yeah, off with his head. Jeez. I know.
There we go.
Who do you think you are?
Homage to
Long
Braveheart. Every
shots.
Gen Xer worships Braveheart,
Yeah.
as you should.
Yeah.
He's a legend.
Dude, I'm so amazed that this thing is not like I have not broken this thing yet in the 25 years that I've had it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Looks great.
Let's see. Your books.
Yep.
You can find both of our books on Amazon.
Yep.
And then Amazon KDP. We have them. The Travelers League is available in paperback and ebook
In ebook. Yep.
and audiobook.
Ebook, paperback, and audiobook. Yep.
That's right. Yep. And then same for the Heavenly Realm series. You can get that on Amazon in ebook or paperback or audiobook. Adam Burrell is our narrator, and he does a fantastic job. He sounds like Alan Rickman.
Yep. He is from the UK. He
Sheriff
sounds
of
like Alec
Nottingham.
Rickman. His
He'll
voice
cut
will,
your heart out with a spoon. His voice is so good.
as you smile and melt like butter.
Potter.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
Also.
So Adam Burrell is great. Let's see. Anything else you want to promote real quick? We kind of just did this like off the cuff. We didn't really have a plan.
I mean, if we're promoting, obviously, I'm gonna Hacker Jack. If you
Yeah.
have middle grade 8 through 12 boy sci-fi book, Hacker Jack is really funny and really
Yeah.
fun. The president gets trapped inside a video game. He's a parody of Donald Trump.
Yeah, nice.
His name is Douglas J. Champ. I know, and he gets trapped inside a video game, and
They have to rescue
Henry
him.
and Laura have to, or excuse me, Charlie and Laura have to go in and rescue him.
Yeah.
So they get sucked into the video game. They have to rescue and extract the president. It's so great. Lots of coding,
Oh, yeah.
it's awesome. It's basically Fortnite meets Minecraft.
Yes.
And you can
Spy
actually,
Kids. It's kinda like a little Spy
Kids. You
Kids
get
kinda
sucked into the
vibe
video
to
game, trapped in the video game type of
Yeah.
book. It's so really great. Of course, this book is near and dear to my heart, The Mermicorn, because she was 7 at the time.
Yeah.
Eva May,
Hmm.
my daughter, created this story. She drew it in comic book form as well as a 7-year-old can. She drew pictures and speech bubbles
Cutest, man.
and told a story, and it was almost flawless when you talk about a story structure
Really?
and a plot that follows the 3-part story structure.
Yeah.
Because she had read stories, she had seen movies. She writes out this whole thing, and it was so good. I told her, we're going to write it, we're going to publish it. I'm going to make a couple adjustments here and there,
Yeah.
and I'll be darned if it's not a fantastic book.
Wow.
It's a fantastic story.
That's so adorable.
Yeah.
It's the cutest.
She's
thing
my
in the
creative, man.
world.
She's
Yeah.
awesome. And I even put her name on it
Awesome.
because it's self-published. Why not?
Check the chat real quick.
What do we
Let's
got? We
see
got
if,
something on the chat here.
Let's just make sure that we're not missing anything.
I'll be sure to get a
Oh, 4X. Sure. Something tells me J. Reese Bradley does not need a 4X for that.
You will
know.
not need a 4X shirt. I'm
But
sure you will not need
it
a 4X.
will come in handy in the apocalypse because you could probably, use it, to build like a lean-to, as you're loading mags, waiting for the demon UFOs
Right.
to come around the corner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you don't have a firearm to shoot UFOs,
Mm-hmm.
please buy that before you buy one of our shirts.
Yeah, priorities.
Then buy one of our
Yeah.
shirts, and then shoot the aliens when they arrive.
That's right.
We're with you.
Awesome.
All right, well, that's all we got. We are so glad that you guys spent time with us tonight.
Yeah.
Jay Reese, thank you again.
Yeah, this was
It's been
awesome.
really
Jay,
great.
You
You've
gotta
been
come
such
back.
a blessing. We'll stay in touch
Yeah.
via Instagram, and let's see. Next week we're off.
Yes.
It's my son's birthday. He's a teenager now, so we
Oh,
got to make a
boy.
big deal about it. That'll be
Once
great.
you start down the dark path.
And then I think we're off the following week. But the week after that is the following week is the 24th.
Yeah, that's when we will be on Derek Gilbert's show, A View from the Bunker. So there may or may not be.
We'll share it. There's a way to
Yeah.
share it on the YouTube channel. We'll make sure it gets shared.
Yeah.
It's a great interview. And then on the 31st, July 31st, we're going to go live again right here on the Goslings in the Tiki Niki Lounge, interviewing the great Stephen Pressfield, the author
man.
of The Legend of Bagger Vance, The War of Art, A Man at Arms,
The Lion's Gate.
The Lion's Gate.
Gates of Fire.
Yeah, Gates of Fire.
Virtues of War. I mean, the list is.
Yeah, it goes on and on. We're going to be talking about his new upcoming book, Put Your Ass Where Your Heart Wants to Be.
Yeah, which is awesome. He
It's gonna
sent
be
us a
fantastic.
preliminary copy of it, and we read it, and it's a game changer.
It
just
is.
like all the other stuff.
Yep.
So he's so fun, and he's so gracious with his time, just like Derek, just like Gary Wayne, just like everybody we've ever interviewed.
Yep.
He's just a scholar and a gentleman.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
tune in. Check out Derek Gilbert, View from the Bunker on YouTube on July 24th. That's when our interview with him will air. He's got to edit it, so it'll take him a little while. And then on the 31st, the next week, we'll be here
We'll be here.
with Stephen Pressfield.
July 31st. Don't miss it.
So, yeah.
All right.
All right, everybody. Jay, thank you. Awesome to talk to you. Please come back. And yeah, everybody else, man, thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your week. See
All
ya.
right. See you guys.
Go forth and strike down the darkness.
Strike down the darkness.